Buenos dias, Gunners Collective. Back at it like a smack at it. And as you can tell by that thumbnail right there, yes, indeed, I'm gonna write some graffiti on this motherfucking bus exclusively because you know the gun in a menudo style in a direct fashion is always gonna bring in them exclusives. I'll bring back my homeboy, man, 30 years plus, Mr. Spookio, the Islas Casitas Salas, man. And exclusively, we're gonna talk about something that happened in the 90s, something that happened in the early 90s, man. And not a lot of people know unless you're from the Salinas, Salabo area. But it was a very big, intricate part and played into the history of the Norteñoism out there and things that happened within the barrios of Salinas. So without further ado, man, I'm going to let Spookio tell you in his own words about what was known to become the Halloween massacre. So what's cracking, homeboy? How you doing?
Doing good, Carolina. How you been, man?
Man, chilling like a villain, my brother.
That's right, bro.
So what's going on
So,
with it?
so now, man, you know, uh, you know, that was like a dark. That's when like body of warfare for Norteño started happening in Salas after that, bro. You know what I mean? There's a lot had to do with it, you know, um, so there was this party, and everybody was there, all the homeboys, homeboys from Kilbert Street, Casitas, Fremont, um, Costa Plaza, you know what I mean? Um, and then like there were some Simpsons there, but they're around the corner at the homeboy Smokey's house, you know what I mean? Um, and this happened, in '93 Halloween, and a lot of people don't really they hear about it, but they don't really know the truth about it, you know what I mean? So what happened was is um there's a homeboy from Fremont, you know what I mean, and he was he was there, you know what I mean, and a lot of us homies from Casitas were there, and the homeboy Frosty Eric got into it with them, um, and they had a fight. You know what I mean? They went outside. They threw hands, and the Wato from Fremont got the homie. You know what I mean? And but the homeboys, you know, with the business, and accepted it, whatever. You know what I mean? And but after that, it was like a little tension in the party, and I guess the Wato was feeling himself, and started being like Puro Fremont, this and that, and then he had like a gauge on him and started pointing it at people. And, little did you know that, everybody from Casitos were strapped, bro. You know what I mean? It's like, a couple older homeboys, had blessed us, you know what I mean, with all kinds of straps and stuff. And we're there, and, you know, um, they started arguing, and then dude had pulled a gauge, and it was crazy because everybody thinks that the homeboy just started letting off, and it wasn't that. A matter of fact, it was like a couple of the homeboys that were coming around the corner filling up their pitchers with beast oil from the cakes that we had there and stuff like that. Actually, pulled a strap on him and shot in the air. You know what I mean? And then once that happened, it just all hell broke loose. You know what I mean? And everybody started just dumping, and you know, three Fremont boys end up getting killed. You know what I mean? And and that they call it the holiday massacre because none of us got hit. None of us. You know, we walked away unshot, unscathed. Nothing happened to none of us. You know what I mean? But they didn't really have straps like that. You know what I mean? We had all the straps, and you know, the homies were getting off, and it was just crazy. It's just like people were just shooting from everywhere, and it was just like people jumping their rides, taking off running, dumping, shooting over the shoulders. It was just like a lot of crazy stuff going on when that happened. And a lot of people don't know that there was a lot of fallout behind that. You know what I mean? Because 80 Boy was a somebody from Fremont. You know what I mean? And you know, so after that happens, you know, um, a lot of stuff started happening after that with us and them. It was just like on site, and like we never came up short. You know what I mean? We always came out on top. You know what I mean? Wherever we went, because the neighborhood. We're a close knit barrio. You know what I mean? And it's like you just can't be from, oh, I'm from Casitas or hang out Casitas. Nah, it doesn't work that way. You know what I mean? We all grew up together. We all know each other. You know what I mean? And if you even um started coming hanging out, you had to be with the business. You know what I mean? And even like a lot of these older homeboys that you hear about, Baki, Matao, Roki, and all these other homeboys, Smokes, Fish, and all these Simsters, like real Simsters. You know what I mean? Real fucking um Simsters. They loved us. You know what I mean? And they used to always be with us. And you know what I mean? They were like, "This is the Salas future, right here. Cause this is the future of Salas." You know what I mean? And they weren't really fucking with their own neighborhood. They didn't really fuck around with no other neighborhood but us, because they seen, like, these fools are with the business. It doesn't matter who you are. You know what I mean? And so after that happened, you know, um, a lot of people don't know, like, some Emmett type shit happened to us, bro. You know what I mean? It was like, you never hear about a neighborhood getting a green light put on them by the family. You know what I mean? And why it did, because we're too busy. We're terrorizing Fremont. We're smashing them fools. And it was just like, all right, you guys want it? We're gonna treat you worse than we treat the Screezies. We're gonna fuck you guys off. You know what I mean? And that's what we were doing. And they were like, nah, man, these guys are wild, man. You know what I mean? And they put a green light on my neighborhood. And we a lot of the homeless from Casitas started getting hit. You know, county jail. We go to iPod. You know what I mean? We couldn't go anywhere else. And they were calling us. Um, they were treating us like we're bulldogs, bro. You know what I mean? And it was kind of fucked up for a while for us. You know what I mean? But we're like, all right, you guys want this? You guys could get it too. We run the streets. You guys run the people, but we run the streets, man. Fuck you guys, man. We got the guns. We got it. We got everything. It was cracking. And it started getting out of hand, man. You know what I mean? I mean, imagine a neighborhood running up on C's. You know what I mean? Like, if you guys are hitting us in there, we're going to hit you guys out here. So that's kind of how it was. And like I said, one of the Fremont boys, 80 boy, he was a somebody. You know what I mean? So they were just like, you know, um, who's his brother? You know what I mean? Was like pushing it, like, man, fuck them dudes from there. You know what I mean? They did that shit. They gotta pay this and this and that. And then the homeboy Frosty actually got charged with that shit. You know what I mean? Him and another homeboy, and they ended up going to YA, and stuff like that. But I was in the Pinta. I ended up coming to the Pinta, and me and Bubba, we're fucking, getting at the homies up there in the Bay. Like, look, man, it's not like that, man. This is what happened. This and this and that. And then, the homeboy that actually shot in the air was from Market. He came forward, and he was like, hey, you know what? This is what actually happened. You know what I mean? I used poor judgment. And I already know how these dudes from Casitas are. You know what I mean? They're not going to wait to see who, 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 uh, who, who shot. You know what I mean? They're just going to start getting it. And so finally they fucking they took the green light off of us. But for a couple of years there, man, we're getting hit. And even to this day, like we don't get along with them fools. I just like a couple of the Fremont boys that I grew up with was like, Rhino from Fremont, Garfield, from Fremont, Little Richard, Richard Diaz, and all them dudes, Jesse, um, the twins. I grew up with all them dudes. You know what I mean? Angel Bravo, all these Fremont boys. But it was just like post Halloween massacre that I was fucking with them. But then like later on, half them dudes became simsters too, and I was like, oh man, fool, like what the fuck?
You know what?
Because you got to remember
Yeah, I did notice that a
when
lot of Fremont boys did go into becoming semsters.
yeah, and it's crazy because like growing up in the '90s and stuff, there's only like there was like maybe the only people that were putting in work was like vatos from Kilbur Street, vatos from Casitas, and vatos from Costa Plaza. I mean, we're the only ones putting in work. Market wasn't really doing nothing. Fremont wasn't doing nothing. You even have West Market. They weren't even doing nothing. You know what I mean? And we're always getting off of bottles, and then like it turned out to be we're getting off the bottles and we're getting off Fremont. And like we would go out Fremont before we go out bottles. That's how much we hated them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it was crazy. It was crazy, and like they used to talk like they used to always. I remember this one time in Quentin, I ran into bouncing for Fremont, and I was trying to get that fool, and I kind of got in trouble. You know what I mean? They're like, "Hey, whatever's on the streets is on the streets. We don't do that here." You know what I mean? And I was like, "Fuck that fool." So Casitas, fool, what's happening? You know what I mean? And and they're like, "Hey, man, you need to kick back, man." You know what I mean? And you know, but
Yeah.
that's how it's always been with us. You know what I
Oh yeah,
mean?
most
And
definitely. You're always about that
I
red on.
mean,
You ain't never changed, homie. You don't care if it's red on red, green on black, blue on green, whatever it is, man. Get off where you're mad at. Hey, so
yeah,
yeah, I
go
feel
ahead.
you. I have a question, bro. So I have another question. Uh, now that we clarified that whole Halloween massacre and how that went down, man, I wanted to talk about. I know there's a Sureño gang, a well-known Sureño gang, Southsider gang, whatever you want to call it. La Posada, that's established in Salas. One always wonders how, and I know, Salas has always been considered the NF and Norteño stronghold. Period. Plain and simple. It's just what it is, man. If you don't think so, then you done bumped your head. But how were these vatos able to establish in a city such as Salas? Not saying that they're not about their business, bro, but it's just I know motherfuckers are born Norteños there. So how did that happen, brother?
Well, you got to remember they came out like in the mid '90s, bro. You know what I mean? I'm gonna say like around. No, I'm gonna say maybe like around 90, 92. You know what I mean? But what it was is like a lot of people got this concept that they were just sueños, and it wasn't like that. There used to be a clique called the Salinas Jokers, right? The Salinas Jokers. There was about 100 of them fools that were Salinas Jokers, And when them fools, they used to kick it at Shore Park, and they they were doing their thing, you know what I mean? But they weren't really about it, you know what I mean? So they kind of like that game. That gang kind of like drifted away and broke apart. And down the street from Shore Park is this farming house projects, right? Where people used to kick back on the corner, and it was, sling dope and stuff like that. There's a lot of Pisces there, dope dealers and stuff like that. You know what I mean? And a lot of them dudes from the Salinas Jokers started hanging out there, and that's when they started La Posada Trece. It used to be LPT, La Posada Trece, Dracky, Demon, Nick, and all them dudes, Scooby, and but like we knew all them dudes because they were Salinas Jokers. They were Norteños first. You know what I mean? They were actually Norteños, and because that's what Salinas Jokers were. You know what I mean? And some would say that they weren't Norteños. It was just like a barrio representing Salas. Period. But a lot of these dudes were homeboys. And like they weren't like barrios. Like barrios, a lot of them were like paisa sureños. You know what I mean? And they're like us Chicanos, straight up Chicanos, like us. Like, and you'd be like, man, these are homeboys, and but they weren't. You know what I mean? They're,
Hmm.
but that's how that came about. And where they hang out at, there's nothing around there. Just like there's no gang activity over there. They're down the street from Sherwood Park, farming complex. That's their hood. You know what I mean? And they used to kick back in the fields in the back of the apartments. From there all the way down to Lunsford and back and forth, they would walk. You wouldn't see nobody walking down the street. They would walk through the dirt road back in the back. So like before you even like knew that they even existed, you would see graffiti, but you wouldn't see them. You know, and a lot of them fools went to North Salinas High. You know what I mean? And like they weren't really out there saying like RPT into like a couple of these dudes, Draki and Demi and them stuff started started cruising around going to the east side. You know what I mean? And um, you know, looking for funk, looking for trouble. You know what I mean? Because they used to fight with Bibles too. You know what I mean? It wasn't just like we're all Surenos, we're all gonna kick it. Nah, it was blue on blue with them too. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I remember they pulled up to Alpington. Alpington was a North End stronghold. There's a lot of Southsiders that live on that street now, but they drove up there, and I remember we started getting off with them fools, and uh, dude, I don't know if it was Demon or Draki, but one of the homies from the hood shot that fool in the head. You know what I mean? And then like that's when we really started funky. You know what I mean? And we started going at it with them fools, but it was like mostly us, like Kilbert, Casitas, and Acosta Plaza going at it with them fools. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Because like we're just like blocks away from each other, and we all know each other. But that's how they got established out there in Salinas.
Most definitely. I mean, they're out there. They're out there. You know, for those of the hint that don't think they are, most definitely they are. But it's still considered a North End stronghold, man. It's just always been like that. But without being unbiased, man, the Vatos put it down too. You know, Salas is Salas at the end of the day. So I got a question, bro. I'm pretty sure you've been hearing the latest news, right? As far as these
Yeah.
indictments that just went down with the state faction of the NF. So these gentlemen, man, they got 55 of them. They got the whole OGB or whatever you would call it. The Mesa, which consists of Chuco and the other two characters. And no disrespect, but I would say, where's your thinking on this? What do you think's going through their minds, Holmes? What do you think's going to happen?
Oh well, I look at it like this, right? Like you know, they're well, first of all, they're going to be there fighting them cases for like at least a couple years. You know what I mean? I'm pretty sure somebody already wrote. You know what I mean? I think it's going now. You know what I mean? But um, I think when it's all done, said and over with, and they go out to the feds, they have a lot of answering to do, and I believe that their career is over with. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? Nothing lasts forever. You know what I mean? And if they would have just um did what they were supposed to do in the beginning, you know what I mean? They would still be in good graces. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I honestly believe that you know there's going to be a lot of bloodshed when they go over there.
Yeah, like I said, man, it's right now the way it's looking. They're being isolated or kept together, but anything could happen. As far as Conejo rolling or anything, I haven't heard nothing of the such yet. But I mean, everyone hears different things, and everyone's opinion counts. So I was gonna say, what happens now, bro? All right, them vatos are done. They're gone. We'll see what happens. We'll see how that plays out. Whatever happens, happens. What do you think happens in the state now with the rest of the C's that are still there established with this end of hostilities and everything? What do you think is going to happen there? Are they going to pick up where they left off and the beat goes on, or what do you think?
Um, to be honest, man, it depends on who all stayed. You know what I mean? It all depends on who stayed and who's left behind and who um is in contact with the original OGs. You know what I mean? And what directives they're going to be given. You know what I mean? And if it's more um the loyalty towards them, then I think it's gonna end.
Yeah. So, what do you think happens to the end of hostilities, being that we already know the federal branch is not, in line with that end of hostilities? Do you think it's done, or do you think that maybe the federal line will see that it's lucrative for their pockets and maybe get in line with it? What do you think?
Um, in my opinion, I you gotta remember they're a lot of them are like me, sit in their ways. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So I mean, they're it's like I said, it depends. You know what I mean, on who stays back, that who didn't get caught up in that web. You know what I mean, in that fishnet. You know what I mean? Because there might be some people here be like, nah, we're gonna keep this going. You know what I mean? And doing that, and that like they're stepping up, and like it's like they might start seeing the greed and opportunities. You know what I mean? Like we could do our own thing. You know what I mean? And do the same shit that just happened. You know what I mean? But I think if they do have it their way and the feds take over, um, then I believe um, I think it's going to end, regardless of the money or not. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand. It says that there should be no type of ceasefire. I mean, or anything like that. You know what I mean?
yeah, in the
I mean,
Constitution.
I
Yeah.
yeah, and you granted like it's granted like up there. When we're in the Bay, we have a door policy. That was one thing because them fools were killing us. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The CO was killing us. Every time we came out, they would shoot us. So that was something that had to be done. You know what I mean? But if there was an act of aggression, get off. You know what I mean? So I honestly believe it's you know on who stays back, what they want to do, and um what direction that they want California to go in. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Exactly.
And I look at it like that's it. It's on and cracking. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And it should have never happened in the first place.
Yeah, the way I see it, I this
Uh,
is the way I see it is the end of hostilities is always a good thing. I push for the uniting of the raza, but at the same time, if you're true to your concepts, your constitution, your sacred Bible, then you would know right off the top that it states simply in the Constitution that there will be no ceasefire or fraternizing with the enemy. Basically, there will be no truces. That they will never
yeah,
have a truce with La M. But and so with that being said, that's why I think the federal branch feels that that is treasonous and that these vatos committed treason, whereas the state says this was already implemented with the door policy, like you said, but the door policy was simply a half 60, at the
yeah.
benefit of all group factions. I mean, these vatos were doing time together; they weren't going nowhere, and I mean, like you said, the placas were killing them. So at the same time, man, they had to do what was beneficial to make their beat go on, and I understand that. So everyone, it's always going to be a he said. One side on the other. They're never going to be in agreement. But now I think, who do you think has the upper hand now? I mean, what do you think is going through these federal guys' minds, hearing all this? Because this hit out of the blue. We were
It's,
abreast of it. We knew what was going to happen, and pretty much the day it happened. So what do you
I
think they're
think they,
thinking?
I, I think they're licking their chops.
Mm,
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, motherfucker, talk all that shit. All right, I got you. You know what I mean? And you know what I mean? It's just like I said it the last time me and you talked. History repeats itself. If you think you're going to be untouched, nah. That's why they sit and the feds sit there and they just take aim full. And they just do all this, and then when they come and swoop you, they got you.
yeah. Oh,
You know what I
most
mean?
definitely.
And it's just a matter of time. So it was just a matter of time. I mean, the shit that they were doing in the state. I mean, man, they didn't even put no shade on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I mean, it's fucked up to see a lot of people getting caught up, a lot of people who got hit under their reign that should have never got hit, stuff like that. But you know what I mean? As long as they stay strong, I believe they're going to be in good standings when all this is said and done and over with. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. You know what?
Um,
The way I see it is you reap what you sow, and at the end of the day, man, no shade and no hate on anybody on either side, We're just gonna have to find out what happens. You know,
Yeah,
I've been told by a lot of individuals that, you know, these guys these guys, however they were running their organization, man, that's what it was. And the feds watch, man. And like I was talking with Rojo and Flaco as well, on a convict's perspective, we were talking about, it's funny how every 20 years there seems to be a new RICO against the NF. You know, you had in 90, I think it was 92, 93, the one where in San Jose, where they RICO'd all the 20,
yeah,
and then you had, you know, Skip got caught up in that, and
yeah,
Spankio and Huevo, Trique, and Silent, Bobby Lopez. And
yeah,
then 20 years later, you had the Black Widow. You know, you had the Black
yeah,
Widow, and now it's exactly 20 years later, and now you have Operation Quiet Storm. So, it's just a trip, man.
yeah,
If anyone don't see the pattern, then you must have bumped your fucking head. You know what I mean?
yeah. Not only that though, but you got to remember it goes back to before the Sanho indictments. You know what I mean? It was when Bobo and them got indicted. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And all that stuff was going on. You know what I mean? So it's like every 20 years they come around and they do a big one. You know what I mean?
yeah,
And so I mean, history repeats itself. You know what I mean? And it's always going to be like that as long as
yeah,
you have, um, you know, people thriving and trying to, see, because I hear a lot of comments and I read a lot of comments and I read like a lot of people don't know, like they see and they be like, they eat up their own, they do this, they do that. It's about feria. Yeah, okay, all right, it's about feria, of course. You know what I mean? But at the same time, if you righteously know some of these individuals, you know what I mean? Like they try to better you. You know what I mean? It's just that we have it in our mentality that, I'm gonna live this type of lifestyle, so I'm gonna be all this, all I could be. You know what I mean? And it's, it's like I always tell you, if you you know go by the bylaws and base your career on doing the right thing, you won't go wrong. You know what I mean? You won't go wrong. You know what I mean? You make unpopular decisions, but you won't go wrong. You know what I mean? And that's why you have people there for 30, 40 plus years, you know what I mean? And stuff like that, you know what I mean? And it's like everybody's not bred to be like that, you know what I mean? And they always blame, oh, well, this guy did not. You had an opportunity, you made a choice. And, I'm not saying anything bad, about people, you know what I mean, who choose to do their own thing. It's just that, don't blame the cause. Don't blame the struggle. You know what I mean? Don't you can't. You know, and I have different views on stuff. And like people don't like what I have to say. You know what I mean? And I really don't care. I don't care, God or not. You know what I mean? I'm always going to be me until the day I die, bro.
I know
You
you
know what I
are.
mean? I'm always going to be 100 and tell you the truth. You know what I mean? If you want to know something, I'm going to tell you. You may not like what I tell you. You may not like the answer that I give you. But the thing is, it's the truth. You know what I mean?
Most
And it is
definitely.
what it is. You know
Exactly,
what I
man.
mean?
You ain't never changed. Yeah, and with that being said, man, hey, inquiring minds want to know what's going on with that cat Lencho. Is he still hiding in there?
Yeah, man. That
He's the
fool,
general, huh?
that dude,
Is
man.
is that the
Yeah,
general or what?
nah, man. That dude, that dude's weird, bro.
That
You know what
fool,
I mean?
he's cat zero, huh? It
Yeah,
be like that
he's.
sometimes. Anyways, man, with all that being said, man, hey, man, it's good to hear from you. You already know, man, everybody right here on YouTube and everybody, man, we value your opinion, man. A real one, a real soldado, a
Yeah,
real vato that was doing it, and
yeah,
continues with the mind frame and the mindset of anybody can get it at any time, man. Mr. Spookio de Islas Casitas Salinas, a real one, man. There ain't no doubt about it. Of course, we're going to have him on again one of these days, man, and the beat goes on. So with that being said, hey Spooky, any last thing you want to say? Any shout out? Anything you want to say, my brother?
yeah. Always remember, it's always better to live in a house than to live on the streets. You know what I mean? And that's just the way it is. You know what I mean? And you know, um, anytime, um, you stand by your beliefs and you're true to them, you'll prosper. You know what I mean?
In that
And you
fashion.
know, That's it.
That's right, man. In that fashion, man. With that being said, man, I hope that you guys got everything that you want. Coming to you again, that was Mr. Spookio de Islas Casitas Salinas, a real one, man. Uh, Go out there and get it. Get it for your familia. Remember, we're all about uniting the raza. Over here, at least, I know Spooky has his own views. It is what it is, man. That's my boy, and I'm going to ride with him to the end. We're going to do it in that fashion. The gun. Bang, bang.